Welcome to Bible Study with Fred. I'm going to read from Proverbs chapter 13, verse 23. Start with, much food is in the tillage of the poor, but there is that is destroyed for want of judgment. The poor person works hard to make the ground produce fruit, and it usually does, but bad decisions can destroy the fruit of his labor. If you work hard, you will probably have more than enough to eat and a warm place to sleep. However, if you covet things you don't need and use credit to buy them with an abundance of credit cards and debt, or if you spend your food and rent money on unnecessary things, you'll probably lose what you've worked hard for. Don't be careless with your credit rating or careless with the money you work hard to earn, and you'll keep it longer and live easier than if you use bad judgment. Worldly money rule number one for young folks. Do not want something for nothing. That's how scammers get you. They appeal to your own sin, your greed, your covetousness, and offer you something you didn't earn. They'll take everything you have. Only want those things which you've earned. Worldly money rule number two for young folks. Live within your means. Your rent or mortgage should not exceed your gross paycheck for 1 week. You shouldn't have more than 1 or 2 credit cards, and they should never be used past half the credit available. Be responsible for your own old age by putting something of value that you can spend away in small quantities each week and every week as long-term savings that you never touch until you are too old or sick to work. Also, save 3 months' pay for emergencies and keep that topped off. This stuff must be started from the very beginning. It's very hard to pick it up in the middle after you've already got a family and a home to support, and you suddenly decide, oh, gee, I should be doing these things. Start from the beginning. Worldly money rule number 3 for young folks. There is no free lunch. Everything has a price. The guy on the radio says that your windshield repair is free with most insurance policies. Well, that's a lie. You pay for your insurance. The guy on the radio says that the hovermobile for the elderly is free with Medicare. That's a lie. Our taxes pay for Medicare, and so we all pay for your hovermobile. Somebody pays for everything. Worldly money rule number 4 for young folks. Respect private property, yours and others. Bad judgment, greediness, covetousness, living large, wanting a free ride, and not taking care of what you have. Wanting more than what you need can put you under an overpass eating cold pork and beans out of a can and drinking rainwater. Your hard work can produce much bounty with God's blessing, and your bad judgment can send it all down a rat hole. Now let's look at the spiritual application of this verse. Revelation 2:8. Unto the angel of the church in Smyrna write, these things saith the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. The Christian who is poor in worldly wealth, but rich in spiritual treasures, can gain much for God by his or her hard work as he or she tills the hearts of men to sow the gospel. You don't have to have a rich church or lots of money for missions and programs and buses and a big sanctuary to produce a harvest for God. Now I'm going to go to verse 24, a totally different topic, but I think we have time to include things like this. Verse 24. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. There are many verses of note regarding this worth reading, which we'll come to. Proverbs 22:15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Proverbs 23:13. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with a rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him with a rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell. Proverbs 29:15. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother shame. For young parents, I would just give a warning. Correct your children, but don't do it out of anger. Don't let your anger become wrath. Physical punishment like spanking can teach your child not to do wrong, but if done when you're angry, can teach a child that is an appropriate response to someone who ticks you off. There's a huge difference between correcting a child for their own benefit with corporal punishment and hitting them because they annoy you. Remember, the reason you spank your child is not because they embarrassed or disappointed you by doing something by virtue of their age or physical ability or lack of coordination they couldn't help doing, but because they did wrong and you want them to learn to do right. Don't spank your child when you're angry. Another point would be regarding this. Don't let your child get away with things at home that you don't want them to do in public. It's cruelty to permit a child to throw a tantrum in your kitchen with impunity, and then to get all bent out of shape in a grocery store. I've known parents, and I was one of them, who used physical punishment at the wrong time and for the wrong reason. Your children belong to God, and it's your job to raise them in the nurture and admonition of the Lord, not provoking them to wrath with inconsistent and inappropriate punishment. Many Christian parents punish their children with the rod simply because they're embarrassed, and there's no consistency or desire to improve the child but just a don't tick me off attitude. Prepare them to receive Christ. Don't make them psych ward cases. No child was ever hurt by a good spanking, though, with the right attitude by the parent. In fact, more children are hurt by not knowing their boundaries and by not having a parent who means business than by someone not afraid to discipline. A parent who loves their child will discipline them. Discipline is an act of love, not cruelty. So I'm going to go pick it up in 25 to finish the chapter. The righteous eateth to the satisfying of his soul, but the belly of the rich wicked shall want. Again, we look at this just as a literal temporal statement regarding a promise made to physical Hebrews in the physical land of ancient Israel if they obeyed God, or we can view this in the light of what we know because of the New Testament. In doing that, we realize that our spiritual food, God's words in his book, will satisfy our soul, but those who reject Christ as unbelievers, as well as those who claim to be believers, but despise God's words, hold them in low regard, and with contempt are always hungry and never satisfied. They go from one new thing to another, one guru to another, searching hopelessly for some spiritual fulfillment. They're never satisfied because the truth is not in Joel Osteen, Rabbi Schneerson, Billy Graham, the Pope, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, or Sheikh Salman. The truth is Christ and in his Bible. We're to feed every day on it and be filled by it. Here are some biblical comparisons with scriptures and eating. Job 12:11, doth not the ear try words and the mouth taste its meat? Ezekiel 3:1, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak into the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat this roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee into the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. Revelation 10:9. And I went up to the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Okay, I'm hoping that you'll read your Bible, study your Bible, cross-reference the verses, pray to God for wisdom and understanding, and share your interpretation with someone else. Doesn't matter if you don't agree with anything I say or think I missed the whole boat. What matters is that you let God speak to you through his word. And I hope that you'll do your own blog, video, or in writing, or just tell somebody in your family what God has laid on your heart. All right, if you watched the video this far, please click like and follow or subscribe. And you can purchase my comments on Proverbs in Amazon or Kindle or paperback form. Thank you.